Frequently asked questions revolving around fresh milled flour, or we could say revolving around wheat berries. Hi, my name is Kimberly McIntyre. Not only am I a biblical nutrition and wellness coach, but I also have been working with fresh milled flour for over 15 years. I get asked questions all the time, and I thought, why not just do a video specifically on some questions? Started teaching bread classes a couple of years ago, just kind of a thing that I was like, people need to know about this. So a bread class would be a great way to introduce it. And then it just kind of grew from there, and we started selling grain, and it is so fun to me because I feel like there's this spiritual component. The Lord compares himself to bread. Jesus is the bread of life, and he would not compare himself to something that was bad. He would compare himself to something that was amazing. So I have a list of questions here just so I don't get off track and I don't take a half an hour, because you guys don't like to stick around for that long. I have met many people that have never even seen a wheat berry, and they don't even understand what fresh milled flour is. And why is it better? Better than what? Better than not fresh milled flour. The wheat berry contains the endosperm, the wheat germ, and the bran. All three of those parts have nutrients, and when God made food, he made it to come with all of its cofactors necessary for digestion. So when we start hacking it away and compartmentalizing, then we are going to run into some problems where the body doesn't process it properly, and we don't get the nutrients or the benefits, and then it can get so bad that the body doesn't even know what to do with it. And at that point, it's turning to fat, or it's causing leaky gut, it's irritating to the system, and it can cause disease. Fresh milled flour is when you take the wheat berry and you mill it, and that's flour. And it reacts a little differently than what you have in the grocery store because parts have been removed, it's been refined, and so you're getting a fluffier, softer texture that is pastier when you first start working with it, because they have pulled out the bran. And they do that for two different reasons. One, because they want that soft texture, bouncy texture, and they want shelf life. So by doing that, we are removing nutrients, vital nutrients that the body needs. And we're also losing antioxidants and enzymes that help us to break it down. So all these are reasons why fresh milled flour is best. I want all the nutrients I can get. A friend of mine, which this is how I actually met her, I had posted some things on my social media. If you're not following me on Instagram, if you would just go over there and give me a little love. She let me know her story. So she was suffering from the menopause issues, and she heard that the fresh milled flour will shut those down. She was already doing it, and she had stopped. So she's like, wait a minute, why did I stop doing this? And I'm gonna get back my life. So she started making her own bread and muffins and all the things again, shut down menopause issues. That is profound. And we have so many testimonies telling us about all of the amazing things that this bread does. And the people that come to my class and then they go do it, I'm just constantly hearing amazing reports. As far as health, I've had my own blood tests done, and I'm telling you, it's a game changer. While I'm doing this, I'll share what I'm doing, and it'll give you a couple tips. My bread just got finished, and I am going to take it out of the pan because I don't want it cooking anymore. And I like to lay it on its side, because when you lay it on its side to cool, then there's less chance that you're going to have any holes. Sometimes, those holes form, and you can even see them when you buy bread in the grocery store sometimes. And so this just kind of helps to keep it from falling. Oh, some of my topping's gonna come off. That's so sad because it's so pretty, but that's okay. For the naysayers, because there's a lot of people that just don't believe that this is possible, that it is doing all the things that it does. So I like to do things to know for a fact that these things are working well and doing what we say that they're doing. Sorry, I'm sitting here talking while I'm moving my camera around. I have friends that are diabetics, and I'm like, hey, will you try my products? And let me know how it goes. And they were so impressed. And then they're like, hey, will you make these muffins? And we'd like to buy them from you, because they can eat 2 and be fine, where if they had 1 from the grocery store, they're having to take insulin. So it's a huge game changer. I have personal proof, and we also have the person that I'm helping at Palmetto Olive Oil. When I was talking to her about this and I made her some muffins, and she goes, I was so tired and I ate those muffins and I had so much energy. So now she remembers that, and she makes the muffins herself, and she tells people, I will eat those and clean my house so fast like nobody's business, because it has just given me so much energy. But that's what God food does. God food makes us the best version of who we are. There's so much more I could talk about that in particular, but I'm gonna stay on topic. Is fresh milled flour healthier than store-bought? Well, that just goes to say all the things that I just said 100 times, 1,000 times. So first of all, the fiber is stripped away in most store-bought flour, most store-bought bread, and you want all that fiber. By the way, I have an article on my website about this. If everyone got enough fiber, colon cancer would not exist. People go to the store and they look for things that are high in fiber, but that's fortified. It's not the same. We want fiber that was there originally. So fruits and vegetables, beans, lentils, the bread. We can't out-trump God. We just can't do it. And every time we've tried, big backlash. When you fortify something, it's not the same. And the majority of the store-bought foods, processed foods that are fortified with synthetic. The vitamins, the nutrients, they are synthetic. And the body does not identify them in the same way. And I'm not saying if you were somewhere and you just couldn't do any better, that's not better than nothing. It is, but it is not gonna do what a whole food vitamin and mineral that comes in that product to begin with does. And why in the world would we want to take something that is super nutritious and trade it out for something that isn't, but has been fortified? Just doesn't make any sense to me. So I get this question a lot. What about the whole wheat in the grocery store? Once the grain has been milled, it does start to oxidize. So I mill my flour and I use it. And if I have leftover, I will store it in the freezer, because it is losing nutrients because of oxidation. So the air getting to it, just like the apple, when you leave it out, it oxidizes, it goes bad quicker than in the refrigerator. Same thing. But when you bake with it, that chemical process actually traps the nutrients, so we get to eat them and enjoy them for several days. But once you have milled that berry into flour, you want to use it pretty quickly. It starts to break down within 3 to 5 days, and I want max nutrients. You can freeze your bread, so you can make several loaves and freeze it. I just had a party last night and I wanted my bread instead of the store-bought French bread. So I pulled out a loaf from the freezer, I wrapped it in foil, and I put it in the oven for 30 minutes, and it was delicious, and it was just as good as the day it came out of the oven. You can freeze all the things, and I flash freeze muffins, and then I put them in a freezer bag, take one out at a time, just like it just came out the day I baked it. Which grains for beginners? Let's just talk about soft white wheat and hard wheats, because there's so many out there. There's amaranth, there's einkorn, there's karazen, there's spelt. The list is long. But if someone is coming off of store-bought bread, we do want to try and satisfy their palate and get as close as we can, and we would do that by using hard white, which is easier to work with, not as much as a learning curve as karazen. But yeah, I would start with the hard white. It has a nice mild, a little sweet complex, and I think it would be very satisfying. The soft white wheat is more for pastries, cakes, and I will use it for everything. But I also will use my hards for everything. I'll use my hard red and my hard white. The hard red has higher vitamin E than the hard white. Combining them is, to me, perfect because the hard red is nutty, which is fine, but it has a more robust flavor, and so I like it in combination. That's me. Some people like red the best, and so you just kind of learn your palate. But just so you know, you don't have microbes for things that you have not eaten before. So as you're starting to eat the bread, your body might have to get used to it a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. I would start with the hard white, and we love where we get ours from because it literally performs better. And I have been doing this for quite some time now, and so that's why we started selling grain, because it performs so much better. It's hard to get out here because it's from Oklahoma, so we just order in bulk, and we're selling it in a couple of different places now. And if you would like to know where we are getting our grain, leave me a comment and I'll send you the link. I can get you a little bit of a discount. Do I need special recipes for fresh milled? Yes and no. I can use mine for anything, but I kind of know what to tweak. And the majority of recipes that are for cakes and pastries, recipe calls for a cup. It is a slightly heaping cup because it's fresh, and so it's more fluffy than what you would get in the store. But just know that if you're gonna make like a Madeleine cookie or a macaroon, you're not gonna have the same texture because this flour is a little bit more dense. You can sift it, and that will help. You can also sift out a little bit of the bran. I don't recommend it, but if you wanted it for a special occasion, you can sift out some of the bran, and you're gonna get more of that complex, and you're still gonna be ahead of the game nutritionally. How do I store fresh milled flour or wheat berries? So I'll show you what we do. You can do whatever you want, but I just put mine in glass containers. This is just for my daily. So I put this in my pantry for my daily quick get it in and out. But for a little bit more long-term storage, I'm gonna show you that too. So we use the Gamma lids, and my husband was so kind to kind of color code. So this is hard red, hard white, and then this bucket is all white, and so it's soft white. When we get our grain, if it isn't already CO2 packed, we'll put it in the freezer. My son has a deep freezer, and we just drop it in there for a week. You want that internal temperature to be like 0 degrees for a few days, and then you'll never have to worry if there is a nit of a bug. I don't want any bugs, thank you. It's not really that difficult, and grain lasts forever. They have taken the grain out of mommy's tombs, and it grew. You do want to be a little bit cautious. Like, I wouldn't put mine in heat. I would not store mine in the garage. My cousin did that, and rats ate holes, or some kind of animal ate holes in the bottom of the bucket. Don't do that. Don't do that. Muffins, I think, are done. Oopsie. Got a lot going on, guys. So sorry. Oh, these are nice and bouncy. Okay, I'll let you just see these. Aren't they cute? Super cute. Cute, cute, cute. What type of grain mill should I buy? So what I say is just get one. Get whatever you want. I love them all. I actually would love a hand mill, but they're like $1,000, and I'm just not ready to go there yet. We have the Classic from the Nutrimill. We have the Harvest from the Nutrimill. I love them both. One is stone, one is steel. Love them both. And honestly, when I feel the flour, they feel about the same temperature, and it's not hot. So people are like, that kills some of the nutrients. It's barely warm. It's just nice and pleasantly warm. I like them both because I keep my Harvest on the counter, and that works well for me for quick jobs, like for myself. But we do a lot of heavy stuff, like a lot of loaves of bread or whatever. And so I like the Classic for that because it's a workhorse. It just keeps on going, and I can throw all of my grain in there at the same time and walk away, and when I hear the pitch change, I know it's finished milling, where I have to pay a little bit closer attention to the harvest. So it just kind of depends on your needs. If you have a big family, I would go for the classic. If it's just you and your husband, maybe a couple days a week or something, go for the harvest. It's beautiful. Let me show you. Harvest, it's beautiful. I love the color I got. You can choose your color. And then there's my classy sassy. Big, but you know, I love it. How long does fresh milled flour last? We kind of talked about that. Fresh milled flour, I would use it up to 5 days. If I'm not going to be able to get to it, I would throw it in the freezer. You know, Ziploc bag, just kind of take out as much air as you can, and then it can be good in there for 3 to 6 months. It's not like if I didn't get to my fresh milled flour for 2 weeks and we forgot and left it out on the counter, I'm not going to throw it away. It's not toxic. It's just not going to have near as many health benefits. But you still get the fiber, so that's good. Why is fresh milled flour a little bit more dense? Which I get really good results from mine, and I just added a couple new bonuses that have gotten me even less dense bread. It's because of the bran, and the bran has wonderful fiber, wonderful nutrients, and you really just get used to it, and I actually love it. And it's not, like, to me now, Wonder Bread is disgusting, and it, like, that mash, the way it mashes and it ends up pasty in your mouth, that's what it's doing in your gut. And so when I think about that, I'm like, that's gross, and I welcome the bread being a little bit more dense. How do you measure fresh milled flour correctly? If you mill 4 cups of grain, it's going to give you about 6 cups of flour. And like I said, if I am using like a Betty Crocker or this cookbook, which is ancient, this is I don't know if it's an antique or what's that other word, vintage. But if I were going to make something from here, I'm just going to use a slightly heaping whatever it is. It's not really a big deal. Can I mill flour in my blender? You can try, but you better have a really high-powered blender, and even a Vitamix, if that's what you want to do, it comes with a separate blade because it needs to be pretty powerful, and it's going to take you a long time to do 4 cups of flour. Is fresh milled flour gluten-free? Flour, the grain, does not have gluten. Gluten is a chemical process where the protein in the water, while they're stretching and blending, mixing, that's where the stretch, that elasticity, they named it gluten. That's what it is. But gluten in itself is bad when it is compartmentalized, taken out, separated, and then put back in. I have found no one so far that has had a problem with the bread that I teach in the fresh milled flour, because it has all the components necessary for proper digestion. Now, if you come to me and you already have a digestion issue, let's solve that issue first and then introduce the bread. What's the cost difference? Well, it is more expensive, but we're talking, don't sell your health to the lowest bidder, and we're ensuring your future health. Can I use fresh milled flour in all-purpose recipes? You can, for sure. Do I need dough enhancers? What do they do? Well, you don't need them. I welcome them. I can make my bread without an egg, without lecithin, without flaxseed. Those are all dough enhancers. When I proof it, it's not going to proof as high. My favorites are eggs. I only use 1 egg for 2 loaves of bread because I don't want it eggy. But that egg contains lecithin, and then I add more lecithin. Lecithin is an emulsifier. Our body actually makes it. It's a precursor for vitamin E, and it's very healthy for you, so you're adding in more nutrients. And then flaxseed is another one. Flaxseed meal, fresh milled flaxseed as well. That's a great emulsifier. It also adds more fiber and nutrients, and I love using that too. But a new one for me is psyllium husk. Just throw in a tablespoon of psyllium husk, and that really gives that bread a nice texture. And I think that is where we're going to stop right now. I am going to get back to this and discuss questions like, what about the phytic acid? Like all the reasons why people will say, this is bad, you should not be doing this. Kind of the misnomers, misinformation, whatever you want to call it. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here. And if you would do me a couple of favors, if you are appreciating my content. One, if you would leave me a comment and let me know where you are in your journey with this fresh milled flour. If you would share this content with other people that you know would enjoy it. And also if you would leave a little like. Also, if you would check out my Amazon storefront. I don't make a ton on there, but every little bit helps, and it helps me to be able to be here. And I have my favorite things on the Amazon storefront as well. Use my links and my codes, and it's really a double win because you're helping me and you're also getting a discount on the majority. If you go on Amazon, you don't pay a penny more just by using my storefront and buying through my links. So I appreciate that so much. I am trying to get content out there regularly, and also let me know what it is that you would like to hear, why you're here. I appreciate that. It helps me know where to go with this because I'm here for you. So love you guys. You have a great day.